Oh my. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video. I am currently at work on a different video, and I didn't want to rush myself too much on that one. That video is pretty important to me. The game I'm covering is pretty important to me. So I wanted to, in the meantime, talk about something that is also important to me, and that is Sonic games. So, I made the Sonic Adventure video a few weeks back. You want to go watch that. That was a great time for me. That was a somewhat vulnerable video for me, but also just kind of a celebration of why I like video games. So, if you want to go take a look at that, uh, that would be great. But I'm going to be making my definitive Sonic game tier list. This is a tier list made by, I guess this isn't here. I guess the user, Stone Cold Marak 1. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right. So, yeah, I'll just go. I'll put a new tier here. That is number 1, and actually, I'm gonna change them up. SSS. SS S A B C D E F, because they're and we'll do disqualified, and I think we'll have some games that are disqualified later. So I think that makes more sense. So with that, I guess we'll just go in order. I've never played through any of the advanced games. I have played most of them in some capacity, but I've never done a full playthrough of any of them, and I do not remember what my thoughts are, so I don't feel comfortable giving them a ranking. We're starting off pretty big here with Sonic Adventure 2. I'm going to put it in SS tier. I think some of the things that haven't held up well about it are really obvious and really in your face. Specifically, I think the mech stages really could have used a little bit more time in the oven because they just don't feel fast enough. So, yeah, I don't feel comfortable putting it higher than SS just because, I think I would put it in SSS on the back of this game being, this game is what I think of when I think about Sonic the Hedgehog, right? This game is really like, if I were to tell anybody, like, here is one game that I think represents the series to me, it is Adventure 2. So, I think there are some things that hold it back, but I think it's good. I think it's still a good game, and I still think it deserves to be lauded. So, yeah, SS is a good spot for that. Sonic Adventure, I made a whole video about this. I think it hasn't aged super gracefully, but I don't think that necessarily disqualifies it from being highly rated. I will say I don't think there's as much in adventure that I find myself wanting to replay. Whereas with Adventure 2, I could always just hop into a level select and have a good time with, I would say, a majority of the stages. I'm gonna bump Adventure down to A. Um, it was part of my origin story, but I think nostalgia really hasn't done it. It has kept the parts that I like nostalgic and has not really it hasn't affected the parts of me that don't like it, that don't like certain parts of the game at least. Sonic Battle, it's been a long time since I played this game. I feel like a strong B because I can't see myself like picking it up and playing it and having a good time with it today. But I do think the narrative is interesting. I like that it's sort of taking place in this time where Gerald Robotnik is still a plot thread, and you have Emerald and you have his sort of tragic sacrifice and all of that. I think Sonic Battle, I would love to see a Sonic Battle 2. I think that would be a really cool, really neat idea. I don't know if Sega would ever do it. But yeah, I think Sonic Battle deserves the B tier. I can't see a world where it's any higher than that. Sonic CD, I have really mixed feelings about. For one thing, I've played enough of it that I feel comfortable giving it a rating. I don't remember if I've ever like finished a playthrough, but I know I've started it enough times. And I think I'm going to put it in A just because there's stuff that it brought to the table. Like Metal Sonic is one of my favorite villains in the franchise. It's the game that introduced Amy, and it has a really cool intro. I think the stage design doesn't exactly mesh well with the Sonic formula, but I think it has enough going for it. This is Sonic Chaos. I haven't played it. Sonic Chronicles, I'm going to disqualify because I did play it and I think I played through it like twice or something back when it came out, but I barely remember everything about it, and I think the ripple effect this game has had on the IP as a whole really makes me just not want to consider it as part of the lineup. Sonic Classic Collection, that's a compilation, so that's gonna also be disqualified. So, okay, Sonic Colors. I'm gonna start with DS. It's been a while, but I think I'll put it in S because I remember really enjoying this iteration of the Sonic Rush formula, and I think that team only did better and better things as they went on in the franchise. So, and Sonic Colors DS being kind of the penultimate Sonic Rush game because Generations 3DS was uh, Generations 3DS was kind of the last Sonic Rush format game, and they also used some of the advanced sort of style as well. So yeah, I think that's cool. Sonic Colors. Hmm. That's hard. That's a hard choice because because there's a lot to like about Colors. I think the every stages, I think Act 1 and Act 2 are amazing. I don't think there's a single Act 1, Act 2 that I dislike in that game. And I think generally the level design is pretty amazing in all of those stages. The problem is that there's a lot of unnecessary padding in Colors that makes me want to rip my hair out. And while Colors is not itself a bad game in the sense of like the way it controls and all of that stuff, it does feel like it's a little held back by the Wii, and it does feel like it feels a little sort of lost, I guess, in sort of what it's trying to be, because there are too many 2D segments. I don't know, I don't feel comfortable giving it much higher than A. So I won't. I have no idea what this is. I haven't played it. Sonic Drift has been such a long time. I think that's Sonic Blast. I played a very small amount of it. Sonic the Fighters. I recently played some of this game at a convention. I'm gonna give it C. I don't think it plays super well. Sonic Forces. It's a very playable game, right? It's not broken like some of the other ones on this list. But at the same time, it is an utterly indefensible product. And yeah, I think I'm going to put it in E with the potential for it to go down to F. Sonic Forces Mobile, it's been a while. It's basically just Sonic Dash. Sonic Freeriders, haven't played it. Sonic Gems Collection, I probably would put it in like SS tier, but it's a collection, so I can't. All right, so this is the box art for Generations 3DS. I can't remember if I beat this game. It's been a while. What I will say is that it does do some cool things. And I think some of the stage picks were actually better in some cases. Like specifically, I think Radical City, or it's not better, but Radical City is one. I think I really like the pick of BioLizard over Perfect Chaos, even though Perfect Chaos also makes sense. The rival fights are different enough. I really like this game. I think S tier is pretty solid. Console Generations is going to go up to SSS. I think this is, if I were to say Adventure 2 embodies Sonic Generations is the best collection of levels in any Sonic game. I don't think there's a single outright bad level. I think Planet Wisp does bring the overall quality down, and the Time Eater fight is atrocious. But other than those two things, from Green Hill all the way to Rooftop Run, it is banger stage after banger stage. I don't think there's a single bad stage in the bunch. And yeah, I think there are stages in other Sonic games that I like more. Like I like original Rooftop Run more than I like modern generations Rooftop Run. But overall, I think I think this is one of the few Sonic games that doesn't feel held back by something unnecessary, and that really works in its favor. Sonic Jam, also a compilation, also haven't played it. Sonic Jump Fever, we're going to disqualify mobile games, except maybe... No, there's not a mobile game I will disqualify. Knuckles Chaotix, I haven't played. Sonic Labyrinth, I also haven't played. Okay, so this is Lost World 3DS. I don't think I've beaten it, but I do feel comfortable putting it in D, because I'm also going to put Lost World console in C. And I think there's just too much about this game that I dislike for the things that I like about it to come through, right? I think what's a good example? Like, I think Sonic Frontier's not on this list. I can't tell. Now we'll get there when we get there, I guess. Yeah, I just think that, like, the decision to make Sonic go slower, the Mario Galaxy-esque levels, the whole package, the story felt kind of like it missed the mark, like it was trying to do something it wasn't capable of. Like, I just think it just didn't really pan out for this game. So, yeah, Lost World, easy C tier. 3DS, I don't think I liked it any more than that. So, yeah. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, I think I played like a version of this in Mania, but I haven't played the actual product, so I wouldn't know what to say about it. Sonic Mega Collection, haven't played this, haven't played that. Sonic's Popcorn Shop, I don't know. Sonic Riders, okay, here we go. I think I'm going to put it in S. I think Sonic Riders feels perfect for the franchise in a way that, I think it is a shame to me that, like, they pivoted towards your more typical kart racers later down the line, because the original Riders is such a good fit for the franchise, and really, the vibe was just immaculate, right? I think I feel comfortable putting it in SS tier, actually. Oh, wait. Oh, there's console generator. I thought I didn't put Sonic Generations for console on the list. All right, Sonic Rivals 2 and Sonic Rivals I'm going to disqualify because I haven't played through them. At least I don't think so. Maybe I beat the original one, but I don't remember. It's been a very, very long time. Sonic Rush Adventure, I'm going to put in A. Yeah. I don't remember it super well, but I remember really liking it. Sonic Rush, I'm going to put in S because I think the overall design of that game is just really cool. I really like Blaze the Cat. I think, I'm not pushing for, every single Sonic character to be playable all the time, but I do like dual protagonist Sonic games. And I think Blaze is one of the best, sort of side characters, sort of rival characters to Sonic. So, yeah. Sonic 06, so it's weird because I dislike Forces more than I dislike Sonic 06 specifically because Sonic 06 has the bones of a really amazing game, and you can see that in projects like Sonic Project 06 and whatnot. But at the same time, Forces, I don't know. I just don't like Forces because it just feels soulless. With Sonic 06 though, like the game is barely functioning and you can tell that it's really held together by duct tape and glue, and it just doesn't work. With Forces, it's going to be a pretty crappy 2 hours, but you'll get through the game and you won't have that many issues, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have a hard time with this because again, there's enough that I like about Sonic 06, right? Like, if it was just the stuff that I liked about Sonic 06, it obviously go into SSS tier probably. Just because like there's so much cool stuff. I think Shadow's Arc is easily the best part of that game. I think Silver's cool. I think Sonic does some cool stuff in the game, and I think, some of the levels are actually good. Like I think Wave Ocean and Crisis City stand the test of time. I think Kingdom Valley stands the test of time, but there is just that is a small pile next to a mountain of other problems I could find with Sonic 06. Whereas Sonic Forces, I walk away. I am offended by Sonic Forces, but I don't find it is not broken. So that's my justification for that. OG Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm gonna put in B. I don't really like playing this game that much, but I gotta respect it for what it does, what it introduced. I haven't played the mobile version or the Game Gear version of Sonic 2. Sonic 2, I'm going to put in A tier. And Sonic 3, I guess we'll disqualify Sonic 3. And we'll do S3 and K. Sonic 2, I think, is an improvement over the first game, but I think there is some weirdness with the enemy layouts and just some general, like, growing pains. But overall, I think Sonic 2 is a great game. And, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is just building on that already amazing foundation and really creating, I think, in my mind, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the game that really showed everybody, like, oh, this is something that can differentiate itself from Mario and really do a good job. So, yeah. Sonic 4, Episode 1, I'm going to put in C because I don't think the game is very good. And I think it just feels so... It's another game that feels soulless. And while it's not as offensive as something like a Forces, just because, I think it plays a little better, and I think it does, like, enough things right to be in this tier. On the other hand, I think Sonic 4 Episode 2 is actually a great game. I think it looks a lot better. I think the level design is really cleaned up. I really like the way it handles the special stages. I really like Metal Sonic's inclusion. There's just enough in Sonic 4 Episode 2 that I really like that I'll give it the A tier. I'm gonna disqualify the Sonic and Sega games because it's kind of Sonic, but I don't know. Okay, Sonic Boom games. I never actually played any of the Sonic Boom games. I watched a bunch of the show, but I never actually played the games. So, yeah. Sega Sonic haven't played. Sega Superstars haven't played that. Sega Superstars Tennis. All right, here we go. Sonic and the Secret Rings. I'm gonna put you in E tier. The ending of this game is amazing. But aside from that, it's really hard to say anything good about it. I think I don't know. I just don't think it's very good. I think it. I would love a bottoms up remake where they just completely change the way it plays and change the level design, and we actually got to see some of that creative vision come through. But because a cool like Sonic on Rails game, that could work, but I think the way it controls and just the fact that it's not very fun, right? It just feels kind of tedious most of the time. I don't know. I can't really get behind it. Shadow the Hedgehog, I think, is a case of kind of an overhated game. I think it belongs in B tier just because there's enough that's good about it. Like, I think the platforming's fine. I think the shooting's cool. I think the level design is kind of all over the place. It's the mission design that really brings it down. It's the fact that it's the fact that you have to play through it like 25 times to see the true ending, and then the true ending is also like it's impossible for it to be canon because all of the endings contradict each other. If it were just like a clean, how many individual stages are there in that game? If this was like a clean 20 stage front to back Shadow the Hedgehog game, easy SS, maybe even SSS tier, right? I think there is an argument that if you just took out the missions and you added like a reach the goal for everything and you put it all in one timeline, I think this would be. I unironically think Shadow the Hedgehog would be lauded as one of the best Sonic games, especially nowadays after people sort of cool off about the whole cringe Sonic is cringe thing. But I think because of the stuff that holds it back, because of the tedium of this game, I think it's really I think it can't deserve more than a B tier, and that's a shame because there is a lot in there that's really cool. But yeah, Sonic Heroes. I know there are a lot of Sonic Heroes fans. They are people I do not agree with, but I can understand why they feel the way they do. I'm going to put Heroes in A tier because I think what it does well, but I can't say I like it as much as some of the other games. Sonic Shuffle, I haven't played it. Sonic and the Black Knight. Now this game, drastic improvement over Secret Rings, so much more playable. I think it still feels a little janky, right? If I were just judging it on gameplay, I would probably put it in B tier because it is playable. It's not as clean as some of the other games, but I think what it does well. And yeah, I think, and some of the boss fights are cool. Like I'll give it up on that. With the narrative, however, I'm gonna bump it all the way up to S tier, top of S tier, actually. Yeah, I'll probably make a video about it. By far my favorite Sonic story. I think it's one of those things that it's one of the few games that feels like it taps into Sonic's character fully while not also like condemning him to anything. I think, Sonic and the Black Knight really does a great job of just putting Sonic in the world and letting him move about it in a way that feels like him, and the world responds to him quite naturally as well. And yeah, I just think it is a perfect narrative for Sonic, at least. I have played Sonic Jump, but it's a mobile game. I'm disqualifying it. I don't even know what that game is. Sonic 3D Blast, haven't played it. I've played a little bit of it. I'll put Sonic Blast there as well. But I don't remember liking what I played, and I never played enough of it. Sonic and Knuckles is disqualified because of, it's basically just the second half of 3 and K. Like there's no reason to add that. I don't know what this is. Sonic Dash 2, I have fun with it, but it's a mobile game, so it's disqualified. Sonic Dash, fun game, disqualified. I think this is Sonic Drift 2. Haven't played it. I don't know what that is. Sonic Mania. I'll put it in SS. I think Mania is a little overhyped. I don't think it's like as, revolutionary and amazing as everybody makes it out to be. But what I will say is that it's easily my favorite classic style Sonic game. And yeah, I think it's solid, and I think there's enough to like about it, and it was like a breath of fresh air when it came out. So yeah, I'll give it up for Mania. I have no idea what that game is. It looks like a collection of some kind. We'll disqualify the Olympic Games as well. I think this is also like a product of some kind, like I don't know. Team Sonic Racing. I'm gonna disqualify. No, it's a Sonic game. I think I'm gonna give it a C tier, just because I just don't like Kart Racer Sonic that much. It's a little bit more acceptable in like the Sonic and Sega world, because you have a bunch of characters who wouldn't be able to keep up with Sonic, but and Sonic on hoverboards makes sense because that's kind of the challenge that he's taking on. But I don't know. I don't like the idea of Sonic, just kind of by himself in a car. Like that just doesn't really work for me. Yeah. So Team Sonic Racing, I think it's got fine mechanics, but I don't know. I just don't. I'm not a really big fan. Sega Saturn Sonic R. I'm really nostalgic about this game, but there's no denying that this is not a great game to play at all. I don't know. I just don't think just go listen to the soundtrack and call it a day. Sonic Runners, I guess this is like the fan version. Disqualified. I think this is the like Sega Genesis collection. I haven't played it. It's also disqualified. So there are 3 versions of Unleashed on here. I think that's accounting for the console version and the PS3 Xbox 360 version and the Wii PS2 version. It has been an eternity since I played Sonic Unleashed on the Wii. I'll use this one for that. What I will say is I enjoyed it when I played it, but it has been so long I can't really say much more about it. Haven't played that. I think I've played a very small amount of Tales of Adventures, but yeah, these games I haven't really played. We already talked about Team Sonic Racing. Console Unleashed, I played it back when it got when it got the 60 FPS patch on Xbox, on the Xbox Series, and didn't finish my playthrough because I got locked into a bunch of meta collecting and didn't like it. I think, you know, the daytime stages are amazing and I wouldn't trade them for anything, but there's enough just kind of slog in that game that I just can't really defend it past B tier. So yeah, and Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. I guess it's the last one. I guess this one doesn't really have Frontiers on it. Uh, I'll choose an intermediary Frontiers from the we'll choose it from the disqualified list. But Zero Gravity is a downgrade from the original, but I really like it. I really like its soundtrack, and I still enjoy playing it. I'm gonna give it A tier because it also has one of my favorite endings in the franchise, just like one of my favorite ending cutscenes. I think that's just a great little moment of like the rivalry continues forever sort of thing. Yeah, Frontiers. Let's choose. This one looks like it could be Frontiers. Or, I'm gonna. Okay, so Frontiers. I'm definitely making a video about this at some point, so I won't say too much. But Frontiers really brought back my love for this franchise in a way that it had really kind of petered out. Yeah, I don't know. I think, Sonic Frontiers was really cool. I think the supersonic fights are incredible. Yeah, and I'll go more in depth for sure. But yeah, all right. Well, that's kind of my Sonic tier list. I guess Sonic Superstars. I haven't played enough of it to make a determination about it. I've liked what I played, but I wouldn't be able to make a good judgment. So yeah, this is kind of my tier list. Thanks for watching. Next week we'll probably have the Kingdom Hearts 2 video. So look forward to that and have a great rest of your day. Bye.